I have to follow a diet that is totally free of inulin, and I haven't found any source commercially where I can buy any bread, buns or cake that is free of inulin, so I have to make my own. The main ingredients: rice flour, and this includes some brown rice flour, so it's much healthier than rice starch or white rice flour. A very useful ingredient in small amounts is glutinous rice flour. It's not gluten, it's a sticky rice flour, and it absorbs moisture, so it holds the moisture and it greatly improves anything that's baked with any gluten-free flour. But remember, for this video, it's inulin-free that's important, although everything here is totally gluten-free. The largest ingredient: apples, 4 large apples, or I've got 6 slightly smaller apples here. I use homegrown winter squash, and these have been baked in the oven, and once they've been baked the skin peels off, so they don't need to be peeled beforehand. You can use courgette in place of the squash. Again, the vegetables, the fruit, they need to be cooked in the microwave until they're soft and then allowed to cool. I include 4 plums and a couple of bananas. This recipe I add 4 eggs, 4 ounces of sultanas. I use all sorts of different weights and measures. Check the oil content of any dried fruit that you use. You don't want it in soy oil or sunflower oil or unnamed oil. This is from Morrison's, and it's in cottonseed oil, which is free of inulin and not from a plant that is related to anything that produces inulin, like sunflower. You can use rapeseed oil or olive oil, and we'll go into the quantities in a moment. And as a raising agent, just use bicarbonate of soda, and make sure it's just the pure bicarbonate of soda, nothing else. So those are our ingredients. I need to core the apples. I'm not going to peel them, we're just going to use the peel. Put all these ingredients in the microwave and cook till soft, and then we'll start mixing. So we've checked it, we've got all the ingredients to hand, and we're ready to start. So I'm now going to peel and, I'm now going to remove the cores from these apples. That's all I need to remove. It's easier later if you slice them up. So the apple, the courgette, the plums, the banana all go in here. Again, we want to remove the stones from the plums. You can wash these first. And again, it's better if you just slice them up a bit. Oh, these are quite ripe. It's good. Stone's not coming out of this one so easily. Right, so I'm going to get these sliced up and put in the microwave, and I'll come back when I've got them all cooked, soft, and ready to start mixing. See you in a moment. I want 4 ounces of these sultanas. They can go in with the fruit, especially if you do that the night before. Put the sultanas in with them and then they absorb some of the moisture. I want 8 ounces of rice flour. There we go. All my different measures. I want 2 tablespoons of the sticky rice flour. You can also have 2 tablespoons of polenta, but make sure that is not contaminated in the factory with other materials. So do check carefully on the label that it is pure polenta and no risk of contamination from other things. The raising agent, bicarbonate, we'll put in last, and that's going to be a teaspoon. The oil, 2 tablespoons will go into the liquid mix, not in with the flour. 4 eggs and the squash. So now we're just waiting on the fruit and the squash being soft enough to mix. Now I've got the fruit from the microwave and I'm going to put it into a slightly bigger bowl. It is best if it's done overnight, but it's still a bit on the warm side. And I've got my cooked cooled squash. And I want to mix those together, and I've found from practical experience that a masher is the best ingredient. So I'm now going to mash this. A mixer tends to get caught up with the apple skins or and wrap around it a bit. But this is quite quick and takes a lot less cleaning. And I'm also going to mash in my sultanas. Notice I don't add any salt and there's no sugar. If people want to add salt, you can add it when you come to eat them. but I don't like adding the extra salt, and it doesn't need any sugar. There's enough sweetness from the fruit. Now the next thing to add is the eggs, but I'll just need to make sure this is cool and is not going to cook the eggs as soon as I add them. So I'm just going to pause now. So that's it all mixed together. You can still see little fragments of apple and fragments of plum and fragments of squash. It doesn't have to be totally uniform, it's just mixed enough. And make sure that you clean the sides and you've covered all of the base. So there we go. That needs to cool down a bit further, and then I'll come back and add the eggs, the flour and the oil. In fact, we could put the oil in now. So 2 tablespoons. I'm going to use the olive oil this time. So again, 1, 2, and again, that needs mashing in. So the ingredients are actually very healthy. There's a wide variety of foods going into this. Plenty of fruits. The squash has a lot of very good nutrients. So the squash is a very healthy food. Not always available in supermarkets, and often they have little squash or butternut squash, which you could use, but I find that the winter squashes are very much better, and we grow our own. This lasts us for most of the year, but this time of year, in June, we're sort of finishing off last year's crop, and this year's crop isn't ready. Right, so I'll come back when that's cool enough. It'll just take a little bit when it's not going to cook the eggs as I add them, so we'll come back to that. The fruit and squash mix should now be cool enough to mix in the eggs, so I will break them in, just checking, nothing wrong with them. So 4 eggs. Not such strong shells on these. Again, I'm going to use the masher to mix in the eggs. Making sure that I clean down the sides. So that's the eggs well mixed in. Now I'm going to add the flour. Again, I'm just going to carry on with the masher. Gently at first, I don't want flour going everywhere. Remember, we're not adding any extra liquid, no water, nothing else. Again, I need to make sure that there's nothing left at the sides. So I carry on mixing it in until I can't see any unmixed flour. Doesn't take that long. Going to clean around the edges, make sure the flour is all mixed. And I can see there's some round there that I haven't yet mixed in, so make sure everything is getting a good mixing. Right, don't see any flour left in that. That's coming up all mixed. Right, yeah. So the last ingredient to go in is the raising agent. Teaspoon. And again, we want to mix it in well. Again, I find the masher is very effective. So make sure you go all round, don't miss any. Make sure it's evenly mixed. Again, I'll just go around, make sure there's nothing unmixed around the edges. Right, no sign of any flour or anything else. So now I've got a large oven tray and I've lined this with baking parchment. So I'm finished with the masher. Just make sure I'm not wasting too much. I can knock it off. Yeah. So now my mixture goes into the oven tray. To leave too much behind. and I'm going to spread it out evenly, including into the corners, so it's quite a thin layer. Right, nice and even. That should cook evenly. And that's ready to go in the oven. So that's going to go into, it's a fan oven that I use, 150 degrees Celsius for about 35 to 40 minutes. I'll check it after half an hour and then decide whether I need to leave it any longer than that. So I'll just knock that off. There we go. So let's put that in the oven and I'll come back in half an hour or so. So here's our tray, fresh from the oven, lightly browned on top, a good colour to it, and I will put this into slices. Probably need to let it cool a bit before I slice up the whole lot, and then it'll firm up quite a bit. So good texture. You can see this the fruit there, and that will keep in the fridge for a couple of days. I will slice it and freeze it, and when I want some I will just get a little bit out at a time. So this will provide me with my buns for the coming week, and when I go out walking I'll take some of these with me. So that's one of the staples of my diet. So if this is useful, please subscribe and like, and then I'll provide more recipes for an inulin-free diet. Thanks for watching.